Okay, so apparently Mother Nature kind of got everything mixed around. See, Friday was supposed to be blistering cold, and Saturday was supposed to be okay. No, it wasn't. Yesterday was like -4 or something, or 4 degrees. It was actually, early in the morning it was -4, but then it got back up to regular 4. But it's so incredibly cold, who is honestly going to tell the difference? Um, yeah, yesterday was pretty uneventful for me. Um, Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary for me. Um, Honestly, it was just a relaxing weekend waiting for the XFL to start up again, which I'll be getting into momentarily. And, waiting for that magic hour when I have to go pick up my grandmother and we go to church. So, relatively uneventful. Nothing really crazy. Although, in case any of you guys were wondering, after church, I say we go to dinner. Here's the thing. When it's like very, very, very slick out, lots of ice and snow and stuff, my grandmother will not go out, as I mentioned a couple weeks, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. So when that happens, usually my father and I are on our own. In that regard, we go to Sorges. Now, why do I take my grandmother to Sorges? Because she and my grandfather go out to Sorges every week, so why would she go again? However, if she does, if she is able to go out, we go to a place called the Central. Either way, I get myself a steak. So yeah, it's awesome. So, needless to say, I had a wonderful time with, my father and grandfather. It was my father and my grandmother. My grandfather don't really like to go out very much. And I should probably take one thing. These are my grandparents on my father's side. Don't know if I did a good job of establishing that. And my mother, she was off, but again, she has to help take care of my 2 nephews, which, I get. Taking care of babies is hard. So, yeah. That was, relatively uneventful. Although, one thing I do want to get into before I talk about the XFL, yesterday's games, and my picks today is, I actually had no idea that Horseheads Wrestling had sectionals already. I didn't. I mean, I wrestled for Horseheads. That's why, it interested me. Actually, hold on a second. I have the article, I just had it up a second ago, darn it. Okay. Okay, so, if I can find it, thank you. Okay, they actually won the entire tournament. In terms of points, who placed and whatever. 11 finalists, 5 champions. Honestly, you can't really ask for, in a perfect world, everyone at Horseheads would have gotten, first place and won, but that's usually never to be, that's to be expected. But yeah, they won the entire tournament with a score of 276.5. I forget how scoring works in tournament style. I really do. But yeah. So as such, they're the 5 individual champions that are going on to states. So, keep doing what you're doing. Let's finish this fight, shall we? And to those who unfortunately did not win, there's actually a speech that I personally would give if I was a coach for Horseheads of Wrestling. And I actually picked this up from one of my old football coaches at Horseheads. Now, depending on your grade, this advice is going to be different. I'll start with the underclassmen. And keep in mind this coach used relatively colorful language when he said this, so I'll, clean up a little bit. Basically, it goes as follows. If you want to win the darn thing, work out really hard in the off season. Now, that's easier said than done because most people don't really know what that entails. Well, for starters, you have the weight room. I'm pretty sure every coach at Horseheads is going to say use the weight room. But my advice is keep that competitive edge alive. Do other sports throughout the year. I recommend if you're a wrestler, the best sport you could ever hope to do before wrestling is cross country. For a lot of reasons. It builds conditioning. It gives you better, healthy eating habits prior to the start of the season. And as I would say, and I am going to be cleaning this up, if you can bust your fanny running your fanny off for 20 minutes and change, or sooner if you're able to, which is great if you can, then you can bust your fanny kicking someone else's for 6. So, think of it that way. Oh yeah. Now, honestly, I did do a little bit of cross country at Horseheads, but that's because honestly my sophomore year I got cut for football. Honestly, to this day I regret not just pursuing cross country like I should have. I regret it, but I'm giving you the advice right now, so I can always at least do that. If for whatever reason you're on the fence about doing cross country, well, good news. You have track and field. Just do distance running. Or I say distance running. What I really mean is, ideally I would say try going for full-on distance to mid-distance. Like, when I discovered that I was actually pretty decent in cross-country in college, and when I actually wasn't lazy anymore, I decided to go for, essentially the mile and the 800-meter run. Like, that should be a pretty decent distance for a wrestler. It's 800 meters isn't really too short, and 1600 or a mile isn't really that long. I mean, yeah, there are longer distances you can run, and plus, there are other mid distances you can do. You can do the 400 or the 4x4. I think they have a 4x8 too. I forget, but yeah, I know you can do that. So you can do that, and if cross country seems appealing, go for it. Plus, he gives you an entire summer to train for it, which makes your chances of winning in wrestling even better. And one other thing I should say as well, should you be a student at Horseheads, there is a certain absolutely nice teacher who teaches health. For me, she taught me perspectives on drugs. Now, those of you who are watching these videos and graduate Horseheads with me likely know exactly who I'm referring to. But at the end of every class, this teacher would say, make good choices. Sound familiar? Well, make a good choice, train during the off season. Avoid doing anything that could potentially, be bad for you. I mean, we're not asking for perfection. Don't completely turn your body into a temple and, completely be devoid of all things entertaining and fun. But, you should be mindful of what you do. If you're in the habit of going to bed at 10, try going to bed a little bit earlier. Try and do your best to get your 8 hours of sleep in. If you say, if your diet consists of something like McDonald's, I would highly recommend you change it up like 5 minutes ago. But, eat good food, stuff like that. So, there you go. If you want to win the darn thing, those are my, recommendations. Although someone's probably wondering, well, you took a class called Ace Perspectives on Drugs. Wouldn't making a good choice be not doing drugs? Well, yeah, but it never hurts to elaborate on that more. And now for any seniors who unfortunately did not win sectionals. Well, I never really took it seriously, so chances are you're probably in a better position than I am. But if for whatever reason you didn't win sectionals, I can definitely say that there are two things to take away from it. One, whether you realize it or not, you've actually built a foundation forged on hard work, perseverance, and character. One that will allow you to maybe pursue wrestling or other athletic endeavors or other endeavors in general. So there's always that. And, again, you have the framework. Because wrestling is very hard work. Believe me, I know. Even when I finally did take it seriously, it was still hard. Again, I really could have done more. But rather than lament on what I could or couldn't have done, I can definitely give some advice to the next generation. So I'm happy to do that. And also, the one important thing I'd say that you can take away from this is, as hard as wrestling was, all the blood, sweat, tears you may have put in through your hours of doing moves over and over again, training, running, possibly stressing to make weight, all that stuff. As hard as it is, you can't deny you definitely had some good memories. And those memories are things that no one will ever be able to take away from you. Full disclosure, one good memory wrestling gave me, it actually got me my first girlfriend. Yeah. I mean, we only dated for 3 weeks and she went to, at the time, Corning East. But, had I not done wrestling, I never would have met her. So, and the relationship didn't really end on the greatest of terms, but, I had that experience. I'm thankful I had that experience and, I can use that going forward. And so, I may not make any mistakes later on. So that's good. And, yeah. Now we get into the XFL thing, shall we? Okay, let's see. Well, I was right and I was wrong. Let's start with what I was wrong. Holy cow, the DC Defenders completely destroyed the New York Guardians. Holy cow. Okay, DC Defenders, you have my attention. Good. Again, I don't really have any dog in this fight. Quite frankly, I only rooted for New York because I live in the state of New York. So, of course I'd root for them. But considering that, it was very clear that the DC Defenders' defense shut them out. Seriously, the score was 27-0. It was unbelievable. So, the Defenders are on the radar to win it all, probably, after that performance. And I ended up being right about the Seattle Dragons winning against the Vipers. I mean, I'll give the Vipers this. 9 points is better than 3. But honestly, Seattle probably could have won against the Defenders a week ago. So, I think they were just hungry for that victory. So, the good news is they finally got it. Now we get into today's games. Let's see, the Dallas Renegades versus the Los Angeles Wildcats. They're both teams that suffered losses last week from the two teams I'm about to mention in a moment. But, you know what? Considering that the Dallas Renegades are probably the most balanced, it's going to come down to, is being balanced good enough to beat the Wildcats? And I think it might be. I'm going to go with the Dallas Renegades. Plus, I mean, the games take place in Texas, and you know I am a Cowboys fan, so why not? And the Seattle, sorry, why did I say Seattle? It's spelled STL. St. Louis Battlehawks and the Houston Roughnecks, two teams that won against the Roughnecks beat the Wildcats, and the Battlehawks beat the Renegades. Again, another battle of the unbeatens. This takes place at 6. The first game takes place at 3. Tonight's game is the Battlehawks versus the Roughnecks, and Houston devastated the Wildcats. So, and the Battlehawks only beat the Renegades 15-9. So, I think I'm going to go with the Roughnecks on this one. Hey, I picked both Texas teams. And all Texas Day, His will be done. I hope somebody got that reference. So, yes, I am picking the Dallas Renegades and the Houston Roughnecks to win. That's my plans today. You know, my family's getting together for a nice dinner, so I'm definitely going to be doing that. I cannot wait to see my family, whom I love very much. Plus, again, part of my New Year's resolution, spend more time with family, be more family-oriented. So, thank you to my family for helping me facilitate that resolution. Thank you very much. And again, I can't really do much in terms of a One Piece manga chapter reaction because the chapter's not going to be out for another several hours. And I'd rather get this video done over with. So, yes. Plus, the sooner I get this video done, the sooner you get to see me and this little guy. So, that's always delightful. Like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button, follow me on social media platforms, start notifications on YouTube. I am very humbled to make this video for all of you guys who watch the Jordan Fam. Hopefully you all have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices. And should you be continuing to celebrate Valentine's Day weekend? Happy Valentine's Day weekend. I'm actually really glad I get to say that. See ya.